What's that, Skip? Seano's talking about Supercoach again. Let's go. G'day everyone, it's Seano again and I'm back for some more Supercoach content. Today we're going to be doing our trade talk video for round 9. We're going to go through who I think the possible downgrades are, the possible upgrades, and then I'll go through who I'm considering for my team in regards to trades. Alright, so let's get stuck into it. We had a pretty good week this week. We made, last week, if we want to review, last week we were thinking about doing all types of things. We didn't really know what we were going to do. And in the end, we just went a straight swap from Oliver to Petrarca. I don't know if we can trust Oliver now. He was left out from travelling due to his mental well-being. So all the best, Oliver. Hope he gets well. But I think for our Supercoach teams, it's time for the boot. You don't want one of your primos missing every few weeks due to those type of issues. And if your head's not straight, then maybe you're not going to be performing at the level that you really want to be. So, okay, if we go to the players, let's have a look and see who the possible downgrades are for this week. So we go to cash cows. Now, there's not many, to be honest. And because let's go, we're not going to get any, we want the downgrade. So let's go for people less than 300k. Okay, so the number one pick, I think by a long way for this week, is Henry Hustwaite. Played for Hawthorn. We talked about possibly going early on him last week. Out of the two, out of him and Buslinger from the Bulldogs, we thought that Hustwaite was the better choice. That turned out to be correct, just because Buslinger was named as the sub over there at the Bulldogs, which was unexpected, but hopefully it didn't catch you out. I know it caught a lot of people out, including my league opponent who got him in early and unfortunately got stuck with that low score. So Hustwaite, he's got a lot of good things going for him. He, not only is he on a negative break even of 83, he plays an inside midfielder. So he's right there in the guts. If you have a look at his heat map, you can see that he's playing that inside ball-getting midfielder. So, you know, you really think he's going to have a bad game not to get a 60. You know, I'm expecting that, you know, if he gets a 50, that's probably going to be a low score for him, unless his role changes. Because in the last 2 weeks, so this is the first week he played, right there in the guts. And this is last week. So he's right around the ball in the centre of the field, which gives him the most opportunity to get his hands on the ball. And that's all we really need from a rookie, them to get their hands on the ball and to do well. So he got a 72 in his first week, 82 in the last week. Negative 83 break even. Predicted if he gets a 45, only a 45, he'll go up 56,000. So let's say he gets a 75. So what's that, an extra 30 points? You can chuck an extra 15k on top of that. He's probably going to go up more like 70k, I would think. And then the week after, we'll see as that comes, but the week after that break even, if he does come out and gets a 75, that break even will be much lower than that. Potentially one of the higher break evens we've seen so far this season, a negative 83 at the moment. So I think he's a must-have. Unless he doesn't get named or he gets named as the sub, I think he's a must-have. The only issue is that maybe he loses his spot in a couple of weeks' time when Nash comes back, but maybe he doesn't. And if he scores reasonable in the next 2 rounds, he's going to make you over 100k anyway. So if he does get dropped in 2 weeks' time, he still would have made 100k. And beggars can't be choosers, as they say. Is that what they say? I think that's what they say. So you don't have many other options this week. Now, I'm looking down here. I actually can't see any other options. Now, don't forget, guys, I love making these videos, but I would love it even more if you would hit that thumbs up and subscribe and leave a comment, even if the comment's just to say, nice work, Seano. I think it's the filter's gone away. I hate how it does that. You set the filter and you go to another screen and then it disappears. Okay, so who we got? Darcy Fort didn't play. Oscar McDonald. Neil Erasmus. If he played, he's been killing it in the waffle. Getting like 30 possessions every day. Can't get a game at Fremantle, which is surprising with how Fremantle are going. So the rumours are that he's going to be gone for more opportunity, which, I don't know, hopefully he'll go to the Eagles, but I doubt it very much. He'll probably head over to the Eastern States somewhere. If he could get a run of games, I think he'd be very good. If they brought him in, I'd probably take a punt, and hopefully he holds his position. Maybe with Young, depending on how long Hayden Young is injured, maybe he gets a go. Who else we got? Cleary, we've already got him in my team. I think you've missed the boat. For me, I think now this time of year, high-priced rookies are a bit of a no-no unless you're expecting high scores. So you want bargain basement price rookies. The rookies we've had already haven't scored a lot. Haven't gone up in price a lot. So with that in mind, you really want a bargain basement price rookie like the Huswaite, which is, what's he at, 121, to maximise that the amount of cash you make, which then you can put on the head of another rookie and hopefully get them up to a primo or a fallen primo. So Camporelli, we're still waiting for him to play his next game. There's no sign of Carlton's going to play him. Tunstall, unfortunately, was an emergency this week. He was a sub the second week, an emergency this week. So his job security is very shaky, even if he does get named. Anybody else here? I guess both Gross and Hall from the Eagles are options if they get named. How much? Clay Hall's 187. That's about the most I'd want to be paying for a rookie unless I was guaranteed a good score. And we've seen what the Eagles can do in the way of scores this year. I thought the Port Adelaide guy might be an option, but he is injured now. So then I really can't see anyone. There's Gross. He's 147k. So, he if he gets named, he could be an option, but I'd be very worried about both of those boys being sub-risks or just being dropped. I can't really see anybody else at the bargain basement price. Maybe this guy, the Geelong guy. I believe he might have been the sub. Is that correct? Can we check? Let's have a check about that. Where's the Geelong game? Was he the sub? He was. Started off as the sub. So that's a worry. Still got 44. When did he come on? Subbed on at quarter time for the injury, for the Stanley injury. It's going to be a little bit interesting what happens in the ruck down there. And you guys who were thinking excellent, so no one thinks excellent injury, but they were thinking this might be good for my team. Stanley got injured, and maybe you've still got our friend De Koning. De Koning didn't even ruck. If we have a look, Stanley went down, and all the Mark Blickass did all the rucking. De Koning only got 2 hit-outs. Mark Blickass got 20. So they might not even put him back in the ruck. So if you were hoping that was going to happen, it might not happen. So I don't know, crew. I can't really see anybody else this week. There is a little bit of good news, though. There is a little bit of good news. The week after. If we go to the week after, we've got Will Lorenz. He played a pretty good game. I have to admit, I didn't see the game, but stats-wise, he looked really good. Let's have a bit of a look at him. So, played for Port Adelaide, who were disgraceful, so there's no guarantee that they'll keep his spot. But, let's have a look. Will Lorenz. He's on a wing, so we know what happens with the wing players, a bit like a Davidson. Sometimes they get good scores, sometimes they might not get a good score. But an 83 as your first score is pretty hopeful. It's showing us that he can score. Don't think there's any goals or anything in that. I think that's straight up possessions. Yep, no goals in there or anything. 7 contested possessions. He played 80% time on the ground, went at 86%, almost the highest in the team. You'd hate to get dropped after going at the highest quality of disposal in the entire team. I mean, surely if you're going to keep anyone, you're going to keep the guy who's clean with the ball, right? For guys, Connor Rosie switched to mids at times after half time, but too late. So they took him out of that half-back role to play in the mids when they were getting flogged, and hence he only got a 78, which was a little bit why I was considering getting him back in after trading him out. But I'd hate to get punished twice. I'd hate to get rid of him, buy him back in, only to find he's back in the midfield and he's getting tagged and not getting those good scores again. I'm going to have to see right through after pretty much the round 12 bye where Port Adelaide have. There's him and also our friend the Horny Man, who got a 92, which wasn't bad. They're going to have to wait after that bye. If for some reason they're going off and they're smashing hundreds left, right and centre, I'll consider them. If there's a few more of these lower scores, we might have a think about it. All right, so he is one. Should we go early on him? Now, I was a lot more confident last week about Huswaite and going early on Huswaite. I don't know at all what his job security is. Should we have a look and see injury? Is there anybody injured at Port? Like I said, it'd be pretty hard. If you drop him, he pretty much had the best disposal efficiency on your entire team. Pretty rough if he gets dropped. Who we got? Travis Boak, to be confirmed. So he's probably got Boak's spot, right? On the wing, bit of midfield, bit of wing. That's the spot he's probably got. I don't see any other guys here which seem to be, I think, would challenge for his particular position in the team. Does anything there? Boak will continue to be assessed with his issue and is out for the time being. So I would think as long as Boak's out, he's probably in. So he might be one you can, if this is updated tomorrow, I'm doing this on Monday morning, this video. So if this is updated tomorrow and it says Boak's 1 week, then I'd be a little bit of a worry. If it says Boak's 3 to 4 weeks or to be confirmed, I would think that maybe he's a reasonably safe pick. And I always say, a good way to tell if he's going to be sub anyway, once the teams are named, if he's named on the field, there's probably not going to be the sub. Most of the time, 99.9% of the time, the subs are taken from the bench. This is not always the case, but most of the time. It's very rare that they name them on field in the team when the teams are released, and then they make that person the sub. So if you're looking at the teams and he's named on the field, great. I would potentially think you could almost go early this week. To make the point, Huswaite was named on the field this week. I believe he was named. Let's see if we in the centre. So let's actually see if the Port guy, I don't think the Port Adelaide guy, interchange. Look, he was named on the field. See, that's a good sign. He was named on the field. That's a really good sign. So if he's named on the field again next week, I think you can pretty much go early knowing that he's probably not going to be the sub. Don't hold me to it, but I'm thinking that's something that, there's a good chance. I still don't advise ever going early on a rookie, just in case they get injured, or you never know what's going to happen. Like, who knows, Boat could be to be confirmed, and then next week it's like, hey, he's playing this week. So, be a little bit careful. I don't think I'm going to go early on it. I think I'm going to wait one more week. I waited a week on Huswaite. I missed out on his score, but I didn't miss out on any money, and I think I'll be doing the same with this kid. Let's actually have a look. So he got 83. So if he could get anywhere near that again, but like we said, the wing role, it's a tricky role. It can be up and down, but it's better than a pocket forward or a key defender or a key forward role, that's for sure. So at least he has the potential to get 80s. He's showing it now. So, and if he keeps up that clean disposal, that's really good. So I'm definitely super keen on him, and I'm glad that he's there for next week. He's there for next week. Now, I think another one who's there for next week, where is he? Hugh Boxshall. That's how you say his name. Hugh Boxshall. So came out, got himself a 75, very reasonable. Negative 25 break even. We were all keen on Hugh early in the season. So I think next week he is definitely going to be a target for me if he plays again. I'm hoping that maybe I could snap up to 2 rookies down and to get 1 premium up and get some cash gen going and to get another premium on the field. Even though I have like 100k in the bank in my team, I don't think that's going to be enough because none of my rookies have made enough money to go up yet. So I'm really hoping that both of those guys plays. And just out of interest, did Saints name him on the field? I think he's on the bench. So you're going to have to keep an eye out for your teams to make sure that he's not the sub or anything like that. Toby Travalia, hopefully I didn't destroy your name too much, Toby, was the sub. So if he's in the team again, he looks like the whipping boy for the sub position. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was the sub again. I don't think Ross Lyon even played him. This is probably the first time this year they've had a sub and they didn't play him at all. Let's check that. I was paying attention to the game. I was watching the game. And nope, they did not use him at all. They were beating Fremantle so easily, they didn't even need the sub. Didn't even give him a run. You would have thought, pretty bit rude, that, you're the sub, your team's slaughtering the other team. It's like, hey, how about giving one of the old guys a rest or whatever? But nope, he didn't even get a run. So doesn't seem bode well for him, starting on the field, I would say. So again, for the week after, I'm not aware of anybody else that I'd be considering as a downgrade option. Tom Fulham, I don't think he played this week, right? Did not play, no. All right, so I pretty much think that's it for downgrades. You got Huswaite for this week, and then you got those 2 boys for potentially next week. You got Will Lorenz from Port Adelaide and a Boxshall from St Kilda. So I can understand completely if you go early on either of those guys. I don't know. Let's have a look. If official injury, so who got dropped here? Mace Wood, Zach Jones, Isaac Keller, to get him into the team. Is there anybody coming back for St Kilda who's going to force their way into the team? Philippou. Oh, this is the one issue. I meant to bring this up. I thought about this. So Philippou was named to play, and he was a late withdrawal. If Philippou plays, does he take Boxshall's role in the middle there? Because if we look at Boxshall, I believe he played pretty much in the midfield. What does it say here? It says rotating in the midfield, 16 possessions, 3 marks and 6 tackles. Now we do sometimes fan footy can, steer us the wrong way. So let's see if we can have a look at St Kilda. Let's have a look at his heat map for the old box shawl. So very much a winger. Very, very much a winger. So if you're going to go early on this week, I'm going to go out there on a limb. So you can blame me if I get it wrong. I would go Lorenz. Boak's out. Long as Boak's staying out and not named in the team, I think he'll get another run, and I think he plays a better Supercoach role for points. Now, Boxall, he's playing on the wing. It can be more up and down as scoring goes. Plus, Philippou comes back, and we don't really know where Philippou is going to play. Which pre-season we thought he was going to play with the mids. Is he go straight in with the mids? Does he have to go back to half forward a little bit? We really don't know. So it's kind of an unknown. Or I'm pretty sure that our friend, the Port Adelaide gentleman, Will Lorenz, if he plays, he's going to play in the guts. That's his job. He's going to play in the guts. And and I think he's the better of the two if you're going to go early. Me personally, I'm not going to go early. All right, so that's that is the cash cows. Let's have a look at the fallen or the primos. So I don't really like to go here. Everybody knows we all want Zach Butters and we all want Bont, but for me they're too expensive. So here I'm going to look at the trade targets as fallen primos. So if we set our filters, we're going to want less than 600k and more than 400k. I think that's going to be right where we want to be. And so who we got available to us this week? So Hugh McCluggage, the luggage, is going to hits another big score. Was the one, I think he was the leading Supercoach scorer there for a while. So he's back, hits a decent score. That's good. 580 seems reasonable. Most of us will have McRae. If not, you might as well get on him. You probably missed the boat, but get on him. De Koning. Tom Liberatore is down to 560 if you wanted to go there. Don't know if I would go there, but if you wanted to go, I can understand. Lockie Ash, if you need a defensive player, he's been killing it, and this is his first average score, so I can't understand it. I think Josh Dunkley, this is the one that I think a lot of people should and could be looking at. Break even of 97. So I believe he started off the year with a bang with a 170. Then he's been reasonably consistent, 117, 105, 114, couple of 80s, 100, 100. So his break-even's probably going to, if he gets 100, his break-even's going to stay right around the 100. So unless he comes out, smashes a 130 or a 140, he's not going to get too far, go up too much in price. So you don't have to get him this week. Like, I'm definitely eyeing him off, but I don't think I'll be getting him this week. Not if he's going to hang out at that price for a few more weeks. So I think you can wait to a week or two to see if, it's going to be, if he's definitely come back, if what's going on. Sinclair, if you think Sinclair can get back to that form that he was in at the beginning of the season and he's going to keep that halfback role, this is a really good price and I'd be very much considering it. So I both think Dunkley and Sinclair. I want to have a quick look at Sinclair. Fan Footy said he was still playing in the back line. 2 marks, 20 possessions, starting at halfback and drifting to the mids. Now, we will fact check that with his heat map. We will do a bit of fact checking with the heat map. The meat map, I was going to say. What's the meat map? All right, so here we go. Sinclair, it doesn't really matter if it's Supercoach or not. So let's have a look. They're saying he played a halfback flank. Yep, that looks like halfback to mids to me. It certainly doesn't look like anywhere near the forward line, except this one time down here. So I would say that talk of him training with the forwards and everything certainly is not happening at the moment. So I would think that that's going to be okay. So I would highly be considering him. If you don't, I have him already. But if you don't, I would certainly be considering him. Don't you hate it when it does this? 400 and under 600. Nasaya 560, super Mr. Consistent. I can understand if you would be thinking about that. You need to get some players in your back line. There are so many, reasonable price. I'm saying Dunkley and Sinclair are cheap. I think Nasaya's probably priced around what he's worth. Zorko at 500k. Now, here we go. Now, you want a bargain? I think this is a bargain. So I've got Zorko. I'm not too worried about his role. He had a reasonable score last week. Yes, he hasn't been pumping out the 130s, but I think for 500k, I think if I didn't have him, I'd be willing to take the risk. The only reason this was 100 the week before is because he butchered the ball. If he had less clangers, I think he had 5 or 6 clangers. If he had less clangers, that probably would have been 120. And so he's gone. In my mind, that's a bigger score. That's I'm calling that 120 and then of 95. And so, I'm thinking that he could be back. He could be, ready to go on a little bit of a tear. So I would definitely be thinking about Zorko if you don't already have him. Now, Jordan Dawson, he was the man who we considered last week. He was under 500k, and anyone who went there, or if you've held him, you had him and you held him, he went bang, 156. Just to remind you what he's capable of. He has a ceiling. This is his highest score of the year, and he jumped 23k. So if you were like me and you were considering him for this week, you're going to have to pay an extra 20k for him, but I still think that's reasonably cheap. He's only got a break even of 74 now, so if you were going to go him, this is the week I would go. I wouldn't. He's still down 30k on what he was at the beginning of the season. If he comes out, gets 100, he's going to go up to another 15, and then he'll be the same price as he was at the beginning of the season. So, if you want to get a bit of a bargain, 30k less. Sorry, he'll still be 15k less than what he was at the beginning of the season. But I still think at that price is bargain. 124, 96, 124, 60, 113, 76, 156. He can score. There's no doubt that Jordan Dawson can score, and he'll be around that top 10 to 12 midfielders. So if we're trying to get rookies off the field, it's not like we've got lots of cash. These are the type of players I'm looking at. He's definitely in my sights for potential for this week. Maybe Lachie Neale, I still think is very reasonable at 580. You're probably not going to get any much cheaper than this. Again, I would like Lachie Neale, but 580. I still think it's a bargain. 580. I think it won't be long before he's up over 600k. He's only got a 79 break even. So let's see what happens if he gets He gets 130 this week. That's pretty. I mean, I guess he could. He'll be up over 600k. So, this is, again, probably the week. If you're looking to get Zorko at bottom basement price, this is probably the week. Caleb Sarong, if you think he can come back at 550. Connor Rosie, with I think his role is still all over the place. I'd want to wait until he gets that DPP, and I'd want to wait to make sure that he is staying in that role. As we talked about, they were losing and they chucked him in the midfield. So I don't know what that means. Zach Merritt, Under 600k, got a 172. So I can totally understand if you're going here. If you're like me, though, you are looking for a little bit more value. But he will be, I'm willing to bet my bottom dollar that he will be in the top 8 midfielders at the end of the year. He's usually Mr. Consistent, and he's got a high ceiling, obviously, with that 170. So if you're thinking about going there, totally understand it. Bailey Dale is cheap, but he's showing that he can be fairly inconsistent, and same with Finn Callaghan. I traded Finn Callaghan out, so you're welcome to everyone who kept him or anyone who bought him in. I had him from the beginning of the season, and I traded him out as soon as he decided to regain a bit of form. So if you kept him, well done. He is now... I think you're up 56k for the season, so you've made a bit of cash. Obviously I'd be holding for the moment, but if you wanted to jump over, it wouldn't take you very much to get to a Neil or a Dunkley or someone else if you thought they might be a little bit more reliable. Sam Walsh seems reasonable. There's so many around this 550 mark. Petrarca, I think at 520, it's probably your last week. If you want on Petrarca, this is the week. 2 good scores in a row. Horn Francis still at 130. If you're looking to get onto him, so you got a bigger 112 break even. So he's not going to go up much. He's not going to get out of reach for you. This is the one that I'm highly considering myself. Now, Chad Warner. Last week I think most of us, including myself, were having a bit of debate with ourselves for the forwards anyway. The forwards with DPP out of Petrarca and Warner. Now, I think most of us went Petrarca, like myself, in the end. Warner actually outscored him in the end with a 140, so he shows he can score, and he's still dirt cheap. He's cheaper than what we got Petrarca at. He put on, what did he put on, 20... Is that this week, 27k? He went up by 27,000 this week. At 460, he was an absolute bargain. So we couldn't get them both in the team, unfortunately. But, if you think he can hold that form, he has shown he's a bit inconsistent, though, with a 115, a 78, a 122, a 54, 81, 71, 121 and 140. So you think when he has a bad day, he's going to get one of these 70, 80s. Hopefully this 54 is, I think, was he subbed or something here? I think something went on there. So on a bad day, he might get you a 70 or 80. But he has the capacity to get 140 or more. I believe in past seasons, he's smashed like 160. So the capacity is there. We do need to take into account Mills will come back. I don't know if that'll hurt him. It might even help him to get a bit of help in there. He doesn't have a lot of help in the midfield at the moment. So he's got Heaney and him are the two big bananas. So maybe a third banana in there might help him out. This week's the week to get on, though, because even if he gets just a 98 next week, he's going to go up 30k, and then you miss that real bargain. I think at his price, he's a good pick, but at 530k, I'd probably be going a Dunkley or someone else who maybe is a little bit more consistent in theory. But I'm at 488 under 500k. I'm seriously considering him this week. Is there anybody else out there, crew, that's Roy Laird? Maybe if you want a bit of a pod in the back. Here we go. Luke Davies Uniacke. Is that how you say it? LDU? We're just going to call him LDU so I don't butcher his name too much. 492, super cheap. Break even of a 74 though. So again, if you're looking to chase the bargains like I am, 88, 100, 63, 104, 101, 72, 140 and 100. So he has a few off games, but he seems fairly reliable for 100. Hasn't shown his ceiling. In past seasons he's shown a ceiling, he hasn't shown a ceiling there. So if any midfielder I get from now on, I want them to be potentially to have a ceiling. I think most of the guys we've discussed have a ceiling. Warner has a ceiling. Dunkley has a ceiling. Neil has a high ceiling. Petrarca has a high ceiling. They all have high ceilings. Tom Green got 100 at 550. Rowan Marshall, if you're looking for a ruck at 470, Rowan Marshall seems cheap as well. I mean, he was close to being top scorer, one of the top rucks. Obviously, Cherry was the top ruck last year, but he was right up there, right? I know in fantasy he was the top ruck in the other league, in the other type of AFL fantasy. So I can understand if you're thinking about him, maybe jumping from Flynn to him, which I wouldn't advise, or maybe if Flynn was your second, like R2, then I could totally understand jumping to Marshall, even though I would think that I'd still want Cherry. Speaking of Cherry, I think he's going to be one that we're going to look at. Marriage, no. I don't think there's anyone else there, guys. If there's someone else there that I've forgotten, please let me know in the comments down below. We will forget for the filters. Let's just get these filters off. And then see. All right, Cherry at 629. Expensive. But, I mean, he's back with a 144, a 158, and a 146 in his scores in the last three. And so, even if he gets 128 this week, he's still going to go up by another 20k. I mean, you're looking, if you're desperate to get him in, I could totally understand. If Pittner was named for Carlton after they had not such a great game, I would probably go there. I would probably bite the bullet and just pay up for it. He's one that I think that might buck the trend of value. Like, I'm all about the value at the moment and trying to get the rookies off the field, but this man can go big, and this man, he's potentially can hurt you with his vice captain or captain scores. He is a bona fide captain or vice captain choice every single week. I mean, if you went from him to Gawn or Gawn to him every single week, you are pretty safe of at least getting one really decent score. So he is the only one. Like, I wouldn't consider Butters. I wouldn't consider Bont. But I would consider Cherry if I had the money and if I wasn't so devoted to value. Speaking of the Bont, how did the Bont and the Butters only got 100 this week, so we're going to hope that he's coming down. Let's have a look and see if that's the case. I think the rest of his scores are going to keep his score up. He's 700k. Wow. Break even 142 though, so this is what we wanted. We wanted him to have a down game. So yeah, he only got, what did he get? He got 109, and he still went up because his break even was so low. But this week, projected score 143. Well, if he does that, he's going to hold his he'll hold his price. But say if he comes out and gets another 100, he'll go down by about 20k. I'm still not getting him at 680, but if he got a couple of hundreds in a row, then he might be potential. Even a disaster like an 80 or something like that. Not that I can see Butters getting an 80 without an injury, and we love watching this man play, and we wouldn't want to see him get an injury. But if something, if he got a bit of a knock and he just had to sit down for half a match, and then he was fine the week after, I don't think anyone would complain about that in the Supercoach world anyway. So he's way too expensive, but hopefully he can come down a little bit. And the Bont, who is 693 now, he's also got a 138 break even, but at 700k, both of those boys I think are just out of reach. You're just killing your team if you're spending all that money to get them in. Okay, I think that's all the options. Like I said, I prefer if you went Cherry over the Bontempelli or the Butters. I think Cherry, he could come down. We saw he came down as low as 580, but I got a feeling he's going to be not much lower than what he is now. He's going to take a few bad games. I'm going to hold off and hope he gets those bad games, I think. But let's have a quick look at what I'm planning to do. So, all right, let's can we do it like this? Yep. So I'm thinking we have to get rid of Reed for myself, and we want Hustwaite. Hustwaite, I'd say he's a must-have. If you're playing Supercoach this week, you must get Hustwaite. As long as he's named, especially if he's named on the field like he was before, I think you just have to do it. You just have to do it and hope that he gets his holds his position for a few weeks. There's nobody else really. That's it for me. That's the only one who actually on the bubble that I like this week. We talked about the other two, Box, Shaw and Lorenz, as downgrades that I also like. I'm going to wait on those for a week and just see what happens. We waited this week and it worked out for us. We might wait. We're going to wait again next week. So who can we afford at 217k? Now, I've had a bit of a look at this. Now, there is no rookie ready for me, which I can put that 200k on and get a player that I want. All those fallen primos I looked at were too much. Kako's not enough. Henderson's not enough. Lindsay's not enough. We need to keep Hewitt for money. We need to keep Ashcroft. Last week, we almost traded Ashcroft out to get Petrarca. If it wasn't for Oliver being not named, we would have seriously considered getting rid of Ashcroft for Petrarca, and he went and scored a 99. So, that worked out kind of well for us. Down here, Warner, I'd like to get rid of him, but that 200 on top doesn't give me anything. Patton gives me nothing. Cleary's still got money to make. So I've only really got one choice. If I want to make an upgrade this week, I'm going to have to get rid of Flynn. Now, you might think this is crazy. Like, Sean, he's been getting hundreds and stuff. Yes, he got a 53. It was against Max Gawn. What did you expect? Max Gawn monstered him, and we kind of knew it was going to happen. Now, he has managed to hold his own against other really good rucks like Witts. And against Meek last week, he got a reasonable score. I think that was last week. So the reason I'm considering getting rid of him is he's got a break even of 68. So that's not exactly really super low anymore. That 53 is going to stay in his 3-score rotation for a couple more weeks. So even if he gets, they're predicting a 73 and a 93. Now, let's give him 100. He's got 100 and he's gone 87, 141, 105, and 53. So he hasn't 73. He's only gone less than that once, and it was against Max Gawn. So next week he's got the Nank, then he's got Rowan Marshall, and then he's got Adelaide, who at the moment I keep forgetting who is rucking down there for Adelaide, but I shouldn't. Let me just have a quick look. Adelaide, it's just right there on the tip of my tongue. Riley O'Brien, of course. How could I forget Riley O'Brien? So he's got a bit of a tough matchup until it gets to Geelong. He's got a few hard matchups. Now, as we saw, Witts, he only got an 87. Essendon they didn't have a big monster ruckman. Hawthorn was Meeks 105, so this was Meeks actually not bad, so he did okay here. But I'm thinking at best we could expect is around 100. I think this 141. I also believe that the rucks got injured in that match in Essendon, so he was actually against not a proper ruck. So if he goes at 100 here instead of 73, that's extra 25 points at another 12 and a half. So it's going to be about 14,000, 15,000. He'll go up here. And then if he gets a 93 the week after, that'll be a bit lower. He might go up a little bit more. So they're saying if he averages about an 85 for the next few weeks, he's only going to go up to 400k. So he's at 384 now. Now, yes, he might make me eat my words and come out, smash another 120 and 110, 110. He's a ruckman, so it's possible. I mean, he might even get another 120, 130. Who knows? But the way the Eagles play, the fact that none of the team are getting very high scores, I'm thinking that maybe I just take the two price rises. So 80. So he's gone up 120k. Maybe I just take the 120k and run and get a fallen primo on the field. So that's what I'm considering doing at the moment. If I trade him, now all those fallen primos that I discussed are in worthwhile, looking at. But for me, I think the fact that I want to get all my rookies off the field as soon as possible, I need money. So we're going to go for the cheapest one we talked about, which is Chad Warner, and complete the trade and confirm. Now, so at the moment, this is Monday. We're going to wait for team sheets, and we'll probably think about it a lot. And I might even do a live video during the week if you want to come and join me when I panic and try and change my mind a million times. But at the moment, this is what we're thinking. Quite happy to have it set up this type of way. I think Huss Wait. I think, honestly, I'd play Huss Wait on the field this week. I think out of all the rookies on field, if he plays that same role, Huss Wait has the potential to score the most, playing as an inside midfielder. So if you get him in, I would highly recommend playing him on the field if you need a rookie on the field. I'm playing him over Lindsay, and I would probably, if I had to, I'd play him over Hewitt and Ashcroft, I think, as well. So the only one more thing that could happen, I don't want to do this, you shouldn't do this, and I shouldn't do this. I want to keep this 114k up here, so then next week I can do hopefully a downgrade for both Lorenz and Boxall, use a boost, and then go up to another primo, and maybe get rid of people like Henderson or Warner or, whoever. I'm going to hold these backline rookies now. I've held them. They're being held. I even considered getting rid of Bice, but then I decided that was crazy talk. Between Bice and Flynn's holding, not only is he making my team not very flexible, he's in the flex position, which is making my team not very flexible, but he's, I think Bice still could make some more money, even though this 49 hurts a bit. And also at averaging that 80, I think I can hold on to him for a little bit longer and then move one of Sheasel or Sinclair back there in the future. Whereas Flynn's just like holding, it's like he's blocking up space or holding up space, being a bit of a traffic jam in my team. So the only other thing I could consider is if we wanted to spend that money, which we don't, if Pitnett was named, maybe we straight sideways from Taconing to Cherry. Now, we could have done this a few weeks ago and actually made 15 or 20 grand, and I highly don't advise doing it, but I know I'm going to want Cherry in my team at the end of the season. So I can tell you what, if we did it, I like the look of the team a lot more like that, right? But I think there's no guarantee that Cherry's going to come out and score more than DeConing this week. DeConing got 135 last week, which was more than Cherry. So even though I like the look of this, I think it's chasing the points too much instead of chasing the fallen primos. Unfortunately, if that means that Pitnett's played in a couple of weeks' time, he might be closer to one, he might be closer to 700k. And if he's at 700k, I don't know if I can get him. You might have to go to a Marshall or something and hope that Marshall goes up, or just hold DeConing and hope that Cherry comes down. But that would be a very luxury and I don't like it, and I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm just going to back DeConing in to get a decent score, and those extra 10 points is the extra, how much do we pay for him? The 60k, that extra that he costs, is it worth the 10 or 15 points more that he's scoring the DeConing? I don't think so. If he was scoring 50 or 60 points more than DeConing, well then, that's like another entire player. So if it was 50k to get an extra 60 points a game, then I'd be all over that. But for an extra 10 or 15 points for 60k, I don't think that's worth it. Anyway, the video's gone on for quite a long time, guys. If you're still watching now, please subscribe, give me that thumbs up and leave a comment down below, even if it's just to say, g'day, Seano and Skippy. Tell me if you like my Skippy openings and closings of my videos. And so I hope this helps anybody out there. We may do a live video later on the week and have a chat. If anyone's out there, please drop by and have a chat. It's always lonely if no one drops by and chats. But yeah, so I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll talk to you all soon. Take it away, Skip.